Okay, so in this video we're going to demonstrate how my invention improves the Prius Prime plug-in features for remote starting. So first of all, we'll just say that if you're using a third-party remote like CompuStar or anybody else's, and you plug it in, which is what we're going to do now, pop that in there. Okay, the very act of doing that, you see the little green light came on, so it's not staying on because my battery is fully charged, but the fact that the plug is in basically messes these guys up pretty bad. What happens is you go to remote start it, and you know, you're in your house or you're in your office or whatever, and it will send back a confirm that your car did successfully remote start with the plug in. But what actually happens because of the software safety systems in the car, it actually doesn't start the heater or the air conditioner. What it does is it starts the fan and the radio and the headlights, which will run for like 45 minutes and run your car battery, your 12-volt car battery down. So the thing is, though, at least they did provide us with the factory Toyota key fob will let you remote start the car while it's plugged in, and it has a very nice feature in that it will power your air conditioner or your heater off plug power and doesn't eat up your battery. But there's two major problems with it. Number one is the range on it isn't that great. It might work from within your house to your driveway, but probably isn't going to work from your office to the parking lot. It's, I don't know, maybe 70 feet under ideal conditions. And number two, and this is the reason most people get these aftermarket ones, is it's not two-way. So you hit the button and you have no idea if it started or not. So you just don't know until you get out to the car. So you add the two-way, and when you hit the button and when it sends a signal back, you know that it got it. But like I said, with it plugged in, these two-way ones don't work correctly, and my invention fixes that, and that's what we're going to demonstrate in this video. So what's going to happen next, now that we're plugged in, we're going to pause the video and we're going to go for a little ride in another car far enough away that the factory one absolutely would not work, and we're going to demonstrate that we can truly remote start this car with the two-way remote and show you that it really did start. So that's where we'll pick the video up in a few seconds. Okay, so here we are heading towards this other Prius where we're going to take a little ride. Okay, so we're taking off now. We're just basically going to drive maybe a block or two. Definitely, we'd already be out of the range of the Toyota key fob now for remote starting. Make sure it's actually going to work.
I need to get some gas. I was already planning
68, we're in range, that's good. 12.1 volts, that's good. Okay, actually, I think we can record that. Good. Okay, ready?
Oh, it's been recording this whole time.
Oh, okay. So, sorry about that. We'll edit that out. Anyways, so we're several blocks away now, and the car hasn't started yet. I just want to show you that we are in range. So there's my 68 degrees. More importantly, for this demo, we're at 12.0 volts. So that right there tells you the car hasn't started. Okay, because it would be a higher voltage than that if the car was running. So I'm going to remote start it now. Something we definitely couldn't do with the factory remote, and we definitely couldn't even do that with this remote without my invention, at least not correctly. So we're waiting for the car to confirm it has started, and it'll ping us back. There it is, it has started. I'll also make a note that typically the way installers are instructed and trained to install these in push-to-start Priuses is through something called an assumed start. So when you remote start a Prius, it doesn't actually check if the Prius started it or not. It just assumes it did, and it sends back the confirmation. My invention fixes that too. It actually knows if it started or not, so you won't get any false starts or false reports on that. So now let's take a look at it now that it has started. The temperature hasn't changed, but 12.8 volts, so obviously it's running for real. It's really running in factory or in remote start mode, because the battery voltage
can barely
battery voltage would definitely not be
There you go.
there, 12.8 volts. So you can clearly see we're at 12.8 volts. Now, just to review a couple quick things. If I press that and hold remote start again, it would actually remote stop the car, something you couldn't do before my invention. If the car itself turns off because it has made internal temperature, this will be notified. It'll send a signal back to this, and you'll see stop on here, so it won't think it's still running, which is actually pretty important. No air threes with this at all. And if somebody tried to break into the remote started car right now, it would set the alarm off and would abort this remote start, and they wouldn't be able to steal it. And so let's go ahead and drive back to the car and go ahead and pause. And let's park your car. Put on the hazards there. Okay, so let's go check it out. As you can see, my running lights are on the Prius Prime there, and let's just go see where we're at with it. Okay, clearly we can see that it is still plugged in. And like I said, an advantage of a remote start while it is plugged in is the fact that it's powering the heat and the air conditioning off the plug power. So if I had the heater on or the air conditioner on, which I actually don't, but if I did, you'd see this little green light on, and it would be powering the heating and the air off the plug power. Now also, if you can see it or not, take a look at the car stereo. You'll see that it is not on. Look at the dash lights up there. You can see no lights are on. So it kind of looks like the car hasn't started. However, if you bring your... Yeah, can you hear it out of that? Okay. If you bring your mic down here, oh yeah. So definitely we've got some fans going around that heat exchanger. So basically the car is running some sort of air conditioning or heating right now. It's what we call remote started in factory AC mode, just as if it would be if it were in range of the one-way factory remote and you hit that and held the AC button. It basically did that, but it did it all the way down there, blocks and blocks away, because of the CompuStar's amazing range ability. And it came back and it told me that it did it. So now let's take a peek at where we're at with it. So it's still, we'll pull a status just to see, and it's 64 degrees, and it is locked, and we're at 12.8 volts. So it's still locked, it's still secure, and if somebody tried, to open the door, the alarm would indeed go off, and that would kill this weird remote start mode. Just trust me on that, it will. And actually, because it's factory, it's in the factory remote start mode, here's one more feature the invention adds to that. So we unlock it. When we open the door, just this door, just this one, you'll see, hold it up to the vent there. It's still running, so it didn't shut down. So that right there is one of the key features. Now, obviously, in this mode, you're not going to be able to drive the car because there's a plug in it, okay? And so what'll happen is if you press the brake right now, or to put it in gear, or tried to drive the car, my invention wouldn't shut it off. The car would turn itself off for safety reasons, obviously, because the plug's in it, right? So the whole point of doing this was that I could basically open the door, put my stuff in the car, and then close the door, still running in that mode, and then come over here. And this is how I designed it to work. So you, at this point, you're ready to put your plug away. So you pull the plug out, you put your cap back on, and you close the lid. Now when I closed the lid, and I completed that operation, you may have noticed this light turned off. The car is completely off now. It's still disarmed, it's unlocked, it's off. Now, I remote start it again. Okay, so that was the confirmation beep that it's going to remote start again. There's the start. Still unlocked.
Can't really see that.
Alright,
Okay.
so it's hard to see, but it's unlocked, disarmed, waiting for the remote start. There's the remote start. Okay, now, because the plug is removed from it now, if you look, it's a completely different scenario. The remote start now actually is a full remote start. It's hard to see in the light, but it does say ready up in there. Okay, so the point of this is that as soon as you close the door and hit remote start again, then you can put your keys in your pocket, and while the car is still remote starting up, that's the time you put your plug away. You know, plugs away. Okay, then you come back to the car, and if it's still unlocked, which it should be, then you can just get in and close the door. Car is still on. Hit the brake to put it in gear. Okay, once I hit the brake, it didn't turn off, and then I drive away with full remote or full takeover. So those are things you would definitely not be able to do without my invention while the car is plugged in. And I said, while we're doing this video, I'll just talk about some future upgrades. I was going to make a separate video about it, but we're here, so let me do that real quick. Fan down. Okay, so one of the ideas here would be to force it to burn gas. Now, why would you want to force your remote start car to burn gas? Well, in the wintertime, if it's plugged in, or even if it isn't plugged in, by default, when these cars remote start with the third party or the factory remote start, they power the heating and air conditioning off of the EV battery, okay? And that means they're burning up EV miles for you. And because CompuStar, you can go up to 45 minutes. If you go out there in 45 minutes, you might not have much EV battery left. Matter of fact, let's see how much we have left now. So I'm at 99, but 45 minutes from now, I might be at, I don't know, 50. Who knows? Depending on how cold or how hot it is. So one option would be when the system remote starts, it could do this. It could do a quick push of that button, which basically switches it to EV mode. I think I have to be in drive to do that. Oop, there we go. Okay. There. Okay. Well, okay. Because the battery's fully charged, it's not going to turn the engine on. But normally, what you would do, come back to my finger. So what I was thinking about doing is having it push this button, which turns the engine on, immediately push it again. The engine is smart enough not to turn right back off. It'll run until it is up to temperature, and that burns gas. And in the winter, when the car is burning gas, the heater is enormously faster. This thing heats up in 10 minutes, whereas if it's trying to heat up off of just the battery power, yeah, it's kind of useless. So that might be one idea. Same with it plugged in or not plugged in. You might want it to kick that on and force it to burn gas. So those are some features I was thinking about. Air conditioning isn't quite as important because the air conditioning is powered by the plug, and it isn't any more efficient or less efficient at cooling the car if it's burning gas or not. But heating, big difference. So maybe in the winter, maybe have like a winter mode on it, where you could put it in winter mode, and then whenever you remote start the car from your third-party remote start, it will run the engine for at least the first 15-20 minutes of the remote start, and then automatically switch off and switch back to power only mode. Let's cover this RF relay attack in this one too. So if you haven't heard of this, this is the latest technology that car thieves are using to steal cars like this. And this car would be a sitting duck to this. Absolutely nothing you could really do about it, because the way it works is pretty clever. What it does is it takes two car thieves working in tandem, and the first car thief actually is carrying a radio device that looks sort of like a walkie-talkie. It has an antenna on it. And what he would do is he would walk up to the house, and he will walk around the house really slowly, while his partner would be out at the car that they're trying to steal. And then what they would do, the guy on the outside would lift the handle like that, which of course if the door is locked it wouldn't open, but the act of lifting the handle tells this car to send out a key search, and that's a radio frequency, and it's very short range, right? So if the factory key fob is close, then yeah, it'll actually unlock the door for you and let you start the car, but if it's not, it won't. So what his little radio does is it receives the signal the car is asking for the key, and it relays it to the other guy in the yard holding his radio, and then that relays that signal and boosts it and sends it into the house, where your car key, your factory car key, might actually be sitting, on a hook or on the dining room table or your kitchen table, wherever you put your car keys, and it might be within range of the car. Certainly it isn't, but it would be within range of that guy in the yard's radio. So the car key acknowledges the signal. It comes back to the radio guy in the yard. The radio guy in the yard radios back to the guy out here who's holding the radio, and then it relays it back into the car. And as far as the car is concerned, it sees a key, it sees a legit start or a legit open, and the car can be driven away with no problem. My invention absolutely stops that. 100% stops it, because it doesn't use the factory key fob in the house. As you can see, we don't even use a factory key fob. Now, to be honest, a factory key fob at this point in the system is involved in my invention, but it's stowed here in the car, but it is disabled. It will not activate when somebody pulls the handle. It will not activate for anything. The only thing that will bring it to life is the CompuStar remote, or the code up here. That will turn it on too. So if you have one of those CompuStar add-ons. But then once it's on, you're already at the car, and you're good to go. And then as soon as, like right now, that key fob is on, if it wasn't, we would be getting an error here complaining that it couldn't find the factory key. As you can see, I'm getting absolutely no error. Okay, now the key is on, the onboard key is active, and when I hit the stop, now the onboard key is not active. Also, this button is disabled now. This button will not become active again. I mean, even if I press the brake, it's dead. This button does not become active again until I hit that button, and then it only becomes active for about 30 seconds, which is adjustable. So all of those things add tremendous extra security to the car. Thank you very much.